Aloha Fancy Fish! Welcome back to Final Bit Gaming. My name is Jarrett, and today we're going to be reviewing Tales of Xillia for the PlayStation 3. Wait a second. You're not Tales of Xillia. Oh no. Oh no! No! It's here! Deep breaths, it can't hurt us. It's just a video game. Now, today I'm going to be reviewing not Tales of Graces, but Tales of Xillia for the PlayStation 3. Tales of Xillia, not Graces, is a Japanese RPG featuring a likable cast of characters, a great battle system, and some pretty gorgeous environments. It is the exact opposite of the despicable Graces. Tales of Xillia follows Mila Maxwell and Jude Mathis. The two of them meet up under extenuating circumstances. Mila is out to destroy a weapon called the Lance of Kresnik that can absorb the spirits that power the world and use them against everyone. Jude Mathis is an honor student whose teacher is missing in this laboratory, and when he goes to investigate, that's where he finds Mila breaking in. As he was turned away at the gate, he decides to join her, and it is there that the two of them begin their journey together. The first thing I absolutely have to give props to is the characters. These characters take familiar RPG tropes and, while they don't really flip them on their head as some others in this series do, such as Tales of the Abyss, it kind of embraces these tropes and uses them to create fun little dynamics between the characters, and this is where the game really shines. A lot of people play the Tales games for the combat, and while I love the combat, I'm in it for the characters and the story, and the story usually isn't that unique. In this one, for example, the whole thing is about destroying this lance, and while that's an okay plot and it gets everyone together, I really like how it allows the characters to bounce off one another. My favorite part of the game is actually these things called skits, in which it's just little frames that barely move but show different characters, and it allows you to see a lot of scenes you wouldn't see otherwise. These are sometimes related to the plot and other times just related to randomness and thoughts, and it really feels like you're on a journey. In so many of these games, all the characters talk about is their goals and what's happening right in front of them, but in this one, they have fun, they branch off, they do crazy things. The actual story, as mentioned earlier, is a bit cliche, and I did feel it felt a bit flat. While it did turn into this whole save the world scenario, I never really felt like there was any kind of urgency to anything I was doing. It just felt like everything was kind of moseying along and the characters were driving it forward, which was great, but you have these amazing characters and then you're putting them in this story that's just mediocre at best. Now, it's not as bad as, say, Graces, but that doesn't mean it's great. There were some nice surprises in here, and I'm not going to spoil them for you, but just beware that this game was praised as having one of the darker storylines in the series, and it didn't feel all that dark. Now let's move on to the combat. When this series first began with Tales of Fantasia on the Super Nintendo system, it was praised for having this totally unique battle system. It almost played like a side-scroller beat-em-up, and that was amazing. It really made the pacing of the game feel constantly fresh, and it got rid of a lot of the tedium that comes with turn-based battle systems. In this one, the combat's not actually all that different. I don't want to talk about the entire series too much right now. That's a lie, I love the series and I want to talk about it endlessly, but I'm not going to right now because I just have to review this game, and not this game. I do want to mention a bit of history. Essentially, the series was praised for having a great battle system, then mocked because it didn't change and develop, and now it's praised again for keeping a traditional role. These games know what they are, and they don't strive to be something they're not, and because of that, they're kind of like comfort food. This is one of the most traditional series that is still very engaging and aged very well. The fact that the combat and gameplay is just as fun as it ever was says a lot about how solid the initial concept was and how well Namco knows their own series. So like I mentioned earlier, the combat plays out sort of like a beat 'em up. You have your basic attacks that can be used to just attack all enemies, but then you also have these special moves called arts that absorb TP points. Unlike in turn-based RPGs, you regenerate that mana or TP very quickly. You can't exactly spam these attacks, but you can definitely run quite a combo or a chain before having to go back to regular attacks to build that back up again. Now all of that is standard for the series, but what is new here is the link system. With this link system, you can choose a partner to team up with, and then special moves will be unlocked. Each character has a different move, so for example, Alvin the Mercenary has a breaker effect that can knock down enemy shields. Mila will get behind enemies and hit them in their weak points, causing you to have an opening to strike them and deal more damage. Additionally, this is how you build your overdrive meter, and once that's full, you can unleash these awesome attacks that are more powerful than the rest of them. The battle system as a whole is really fun, but the difficulty itself is something I do have a bit of a problem with. Now, I read that this game was easy, so I played on hard mode, and for the most part that felt pretty good. Random battles went by fairly quickly, and bosses were a bit of a challenge. I never really felt like I was trapped anywhere and couldn't overcome some difficulty until the end. The final battle in this game, while I won't spoil it, is completely cheap and horrible. I'm gonna keep this quick, but essentially the enemies can heal themselves anytime they block, and additionally, you don't get to choose your party at the end. I won't say why, but it's really annoying how it was pulled off, and I thought I missed something, but I don't think I did. And I was just stuck with characters I didn't want to fight with, and it really made that battle super difficult. In the end, I reduced the difficulty to easy because I was just tired of it. I just wanted to be done with that battle. Not to mention that whole battle feels pretty anticlimactic in terms of the story, which is really where the story fumbles. It's in that final act, and it was building up towards something, and it just felt like they just ended it. I've done some research, and it almost sounds like that's what they did, thus giving us Tales of Xillia 2, which I've yet to play. It just felt like there needed to be more at the end there, and there just wasn't. That said, I did find, as a whole, this game to be very satisfying, and I would recommend it. While by no means my favorite in the series, I think it is a solid entry, and it's sure as heck better than this. Graces. Thank you for watching my review of Tales of Xillia for the PS3. I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Jarrett. I am here with me, and here's an awkward ending. Bye, guys.